Oh, cool.
Go. I got it this time. Jake had to, like, help me find where the app was and what app to use, and I swear I'm technically inclined. I guess not. Alright, so today we're going to talk about points of views.
Okay.
And then perspectives.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about point of views, and then we're going to write something, and then you're going to read an article that I thought was kind of cool.
Okay.
It might be. I don't know.
Okay.
Alright, so what are the different points of views?
There's first person, second person, third person.
Alright, so what's first person?
Like you're talking from your perspective. Second person would be you're talking from someone else's perspective.
Okay.
And then, like, third person would be talking from, like, someone else's perspective, but it's not like, it's kind of like, I don't know.
Like, do you know the difference then between the third person limited and the third person?
Yeah.
What's the difference between those two third persons?
Got me there, I'm not sure.
So, like, third person limited is the stories about he or she. And
Okay.
and then the ominous is, like, we don't know necessarily who it's about, but it's in that different perspective of someone. Pretty cool. Alright, so what I want you to do is write a paragraph in first person with the sentence starter on Monday we.
Okay.
So something in first person on Monday week.
That's how it has to start?
Yep.
Okay.
That's how it has to start. It could be like 4 sentences. A simple paragraph.
How long does that have to be? Just
like 4 sentences.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so what'd you write?
I wrote a story about how we go to the store and then I buy apples and then I buy them and then I go home.
Were they good apples?
Yeah, they were.
Do you like apples?
I do like apples.
Oh, good. Alright, now I want you to write a short story or like another little paragraph in second person.
Okay.
This time you can start it however you want.
Okay.
Alright, would you read this in?
I wrote a story about Jake, who likes to play video games a lot.
What else about it? What else?
He loves playing Fortnite, and sometimes he forgets to do his homework because he plays too much.
Oh, you're doing that. We'll go back.
Could join again, Jake.
Okay.
He didn't notice because he was playing.
Is it still like a popular game?
To him.
Like people still playing
He
it?
likes it.
Did you hear about that 16-year-old who won? Like,
Yeah, he won like $3 million.
Yeah, he won a bunch of money for winning a Fortnite competition.
I think it was 14.
14, 16. Still way too young to be winning millions of dollars.
Yeah, for playing
For
Fortnite.
Fortnite, I mean...
Jake, why aren't you playing
Yeah,
Fortnite
you need to
winning?
enter these...
Dad won't let me.
You're not playing. You're not winning us millions of dollars.
You have to do your schoolwork.
Well, maybe if you did your schoolwork, he'd let you enter these tournaments.
I can enter it if I really want to.
Whoa.
Whoa there! Alright, now write it in third person.
Okay.
Yeah, Aiden.
The same story or just a different story?
Different story in third person.
Oh, okay.
Now Jake's eating a banana, so that could be a story.
I should write about it.
Alright, what'd you write this?
I wrote a story about these two boys.
Alright,
From
let's
the
hear it.
third person,
Alright.
where all they like to do is they like to spend their time at home. One of them likes to play video games. One of them likes to read. Sometimes they go and get food. Sometimes they walk the dog. But mostly they stay at home.
Mostly just stay at home.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, which one was easier to write?
Third person.
Third person, why? Why did you think third person was
Just
easier?
because it's from like someone else's perspective.
Yeah. Which one was the hardest to write from?
Second person.
Yeah. I feel like second person, like, you tend to, like, want to use yourself in it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a defined...
Second person isn't really like the perspective for like many books or TV shows.
Right, there's not...
It's mostly first and third person. That's why.
Yeah, it's, like, not as familiar, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like... I don't know the last time I even read a book from the second person.
I don't think I ever have.
I think I've only done it in, like, school, like, articles and...
I don't even think I've done it in school.
Stuff like that, I mean... Maybe when you're, like, first taught it, like, in elementary, you know,
Maybe.
you kind of...
I don't think so.
I don't know. Like,
It's weird.
it's a weird one. Alright, now we're gonna read an article. I'm gonna have you read it out loud. It's about books that are banned in prison. And why they are banned, I guess, this person's perspective of it. So, I'm gonna read it out loud.
Alright. Books have always served as outlets for our escape, comforting and learning. From Narnia to Hogwarts to the Middle Earth, the worlds conceived in books allow readers to move beyond their immediate circumstances and often make real shifts in their lives. But not everyone has access to these incredible resources. In fact, states have recently been threatening to make it more difficult for a group of people who may benefit from books, those who live behind bars in our national or state prisons. Last month, it was learned that New Jersey had attempted to ban the best-selling book, The New Jim Crow Massacre, incarnation of the age of colorblindness. in 2 correctional facilities. Ironically, author Michelle Alexander wrote the book for people locked up or out of mainstream society. New Jersey has since reversed its ban thanks to the effort by the American Civil Liberties Union. Keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Also last month, the state of New York issued a directive in an attempt to restrict the books available to prisoners at the 3 of its prisons, distributed by 6 vendors. This would have prevented free books such as those books behind bars from reaching prisoners, leaving them with a dismal selection. The New York Department of Corrections and Community Supervision claimed these efforts were announced to enhance the safety and security of correctional facilities through a more controlled, immediate package program. In reality, the governmental regulations would have been higher costs for the families trying to send reading materials to loved ones. Thankfully, at the surge of outrage, Governor Andrew Cuomo stepped to rescind the directive, but prisoners in other states are not so lucky. Texas has an upwards of 11,000 books on its banned list, including works by William Shakespeare, Harriet Beecher Stowe, and Sojourner Truth. Arizona forbids prisoners from reading Batman, Eye of the Beholder, and E=mc² simple physics. This makes no sense. Educating prisoners is one of the simplest and most cost-effective interventions to implement in confinement settings, and it can have a huge payoff. Incarcerated adults have a significantly lower literary skills than ordinary Americans, making it difficult for them to re-enter society when their sentences are up. But a recent RAND Corp study covering 30 years' worth of data shows that giving prisoners access to education can lower recidivism by 43%, such as programs could have saved states hundreds of millions of dollars, but they cannot be done without giving inmates the proper access to literature. States can ban books in prisons because of federal regulations allowing officials to censor material that is detrimental to the security, good order, or discipline of the institution, or that might facilitate criminal activity. The Supreme Court upheld the regulation in 1989. These regulations make sense when it comes to books that instruct readers on how to make weapons, incite riots, or escape prison. Yet prisons have a wide latitude in determining what falls into these categories, meaning that, depending on the state, thousands of books may be banned. Restrictions on books do not make sense for prisoners who want to rehabilitate themselves and learn. Access to text can help inmates acquire skills essential to finding and maintaining work after release. As a public defender in Baltimore, I encountered motivated clients who took advantage of their time in prison to study and earn GEDs or develop new skills that help them secure employment upon release. Access to books enables these individuals to shape their own educations and dream beyond their current situations. Clearly, regulations that allow officials to censor prisoners' reading materials are too broad. Reading is not a trivial issue. It can single-handedly provide prisoners with hope, connect them to the outside world, and turn former convicts into productive members of society. Most prisoners will be released. Why not let them learn while they serve?
So what do you think?
About, the perspective of it?
Well, what's your opinion on it? Do you think books should be banned in prisons?
Definitely not. I mean, maybe some books, but, you shouldn't really be banning them.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, I don't know, what else are these prisoners doing with their time? Not give them material to read? Especially Harry Potter and, those kind of, but what about, how do you feel about this Batman? Why do you think Batman's banned?
I mean, maybe because they did say that, you could teach him how to escape from prison, so maybe that's why, because it's Batman.
But, I mean, that's a fictional character. Do we really think Batman's ways are going to get a prisoner out of...
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's, I don't know, I don't want to give any, psychos, the wrong idea, maybe.
Right. So do you think some books should be banned?
Maybe some books, but, I think Batman's kind of a bizarre choice, and, E=mc².
Yeah, well, do you think that these prisoners are going to figure out physics to get themselves out?
I mean, probably not. It does seem kind of stupid. I mean, I get, some of them, but not really. That doesn't make sense to me, the physics one or the Batman one.
Especially, those prisoners that are, in there for life.
Yeah.
What else are they going to do?
I don't know.
You okay over there, Folly? Just sleeping?
She does that.
So what opinion or side do you think the author took?
The side for, books in prison.
Books in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then she talked about how New Jersey was the one that banned it.
New York and New Jersey.
They banned it, but then New Jersey's still let.
New York, one of them fixed it. New Jersey had it like books like banned, and then they fixed it, but New York doesn't have them fixed. And then it's also said in Texas, it has like 11,000 books banned. I don't know where it said that at, but I did read that in here somewhere.
I think that's crazy. 11,000 books banned. Like, how many? Like, what kind of books are you banning then? Like, I mean, I guess like aren't there books on like weapons and stuff? So maybe I wouldn't like.
I mean, that kind of book should be banned, but like I'm sure that like some of the bans are kind of stupid.
Well, Batman, I mean.
Yeah,
I can't get past what? You banned Batman? Like
William Shakespeare, I think that's weird too.
Well, yeah, what
like,
isn't
why,
he?
It's a play, like
yeah, you know, like Romeo and Juliet. Is that gonna help you escape? Like I don't know.
They're not gonna
like,
poison anyone and then kill each other.
Yeah, like what? Well, no, they probably.
Well, or kill themselves.
Well, they probably do that too, but we would hope not that they would do that. So if you were to write something to like our legislative, what kind of perspective would you tell them, or what kind of?
It would be I would write it in like first person, because you're like sharing your opinion.
Mm-hmm. So was this story written in first person then?
Yeah. He uses the word term I a lot. At like the last paragraph, he says like I encountered clients and stuff like that.
So what do you think his position is, or his role is, if he encountered clients? So what do you think?
Maybe he's like a lawyer or something.
Trying to fight for his clients?
Maybe. Or maybe he works for one of those companies that brings books to the prisons.
Oh, I didn't know there was companies that did that.
Yeah,
because it talked about the loved ones bringing.
Yeah, books. It says some companies like Books Through Bars. That's what it's called, and they bring books into prisons.
I'm gonna have to look that one up. See what they do. Do you think they go to our prisons? Probably.
Maybe.
We have a lot in Ohio, don't we?
I don't think so.
Well, Mansfield. It's the only one I know of right off the top of my head.
I don't know any names of prisons off the top of my head.
So I only got one for you, Mansfield Prison. What was my other question? I had another question about it. So if you were to sum up this whole article, what would be your summary of it? If you're giving someone a summary of this article.
So the article is just basically about how some states want to deprive prisoners of books, and this guy disagrees with them.
Now, what would someone's argument do you think if they took the other side?
They could be dangerous to the prisoners, maybe, or the guards. They can get ideas that weren't theirs, and they read in a book, and they just I don't know, did that.
Well, I guess yeah, because if they're living behind bars, I guess everything seems fictional to them, and they're just trying to get out and stuff. I don't know. I think that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I know that. So how do you feel? So they're banning books and how do you feel about school districts banning books?
I don't like that either. I think that I mean, I guess it depends on the book again, but you shouldn't really be banning books because school is about learning and learning from a book.
Yeah, because as a high school student, how would you feel? They're oh, sorry, you can't read that in here.
Yeah, that seems it's weird because they tell you that you live in a country where everything's free and you should have nothing should be banned, but then here they are banning stuff and telling you can't do that. It just seems I don't know, ironic.
Yeah.
In some cases.
I think it's crazy how some books I get it, some books aren't maybe the most appropriate for school, but also you don't want to restrict your curiosity.
Yeah.
It's Harry Potter is banned in most schools.
Really?
Yeah, because of the witchcraft and and all the different religions.
That's weird.
About those across the street,
Oh, they're not there anymore.
They're not there anymore though. So I think it's crazy, but I guess that could be a similar argument. If you're banning books in prison, are you banning them in school? Because if they're going for their GED,
yeah, it kind of stunts.
But what if they want? Maybe it is a prisoner who is going to get out. What if their job entails they want to be a mechanic? Are you going to limit to what they're reading about becoming a mechanic? I don't know.
I don't think you can really. You should be allowed to do that.
Yeah, I think that they should have a choice. I mean, even though they're in prison and they made their choice to be in prison, I don't know if they should be held back.
Yeah, I think it's really funny that they banned this one book, the Jim Crow book about like colorblindness or whatever, they banned that, even though that book was actually wrote for people.
Yeah,
in prison,
like I wondered. Then, does that author, was she in prison? Did she get like tips and tricks? Like now, I kind of want to read this colorblind book to see why it's banned. But like, do you think maybe she has a relative in prison? Like,
maybe, I don't know.
Like, how did she write one for them if she...
I mean, maybe, I don't know. I don't know what the purpose of, like, writing that book would be.
I don't know.
Maybe
like,
it was,
colorblindness
like,
because everything's black and white there?
Maybe.
With your orange jumpsuits?
Maybe she's trying to reduce racism in prison.
Oh, I didn't think about that. So what kind of point of view do you think she wrote that book's in?
Maybe from, like, a third-person perspective.
It has to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless it could be a second person kind of
It
book,
could
you know,
be.
like telling, I don't know.
I don't know. It doesn't sound like a book that'd be written in like someone's perspective. It sounds more of like a.
It has to be, right? Unless unless she was, but I don't think so. I don't think she was a.
It sounds more of like a book that has like information and like instead of like an actual story.
Yeah, kind of like maybe to help them get through like the mental and.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be nuts sitting in prison. Nothing to do. Very cool.